G'day everyone. So if you were super keen-eyed on the last video, you would have noticed that a lot of this stuff had been moved around and like stuff had been cleared. My little lathe here, as cool as the little lathe is, and it's got a lot of attachments and it's super useful for a small one, I've finally found a bigger one and it's going to be going in that space down there. So hopefully the truck will be here in a minute and we can start having a look over it. Oh yes, here we go. Here we go. I actually tried to lift it using that first hole before and it was too heavy for the forklift, so I had to move the D-shackle down. She's a solid machine. Here it comes. Cool. New permanent home. I'm going to move the mill over a little bit. Hopefully it's not too close. And hopefully I've left myself enough space here to be able to get the S600 out from under there still, otherwise I'm in trouble. So Steve and Sean have just turned up and they've decided that this is their personal motorbike workshop. But while they're doing that, we can have a look at this. So this is built in like the 60s? Yeah, 1966, built in the Soviet Union, then sent over here. Apparently these were being sold here under cost price to try and undercut like all the British and Australian American machine manufacturers. But it's a friggin' like big machine. Like this is normally sheet metal, this is all like cast steel. The gearbox is actually in the bottom of it, and then the motor on the back of it is massive. It's got such a big motor for this size lathe. But, oops, hit my head on the TV. First thing I have to do is clean all this stuff off. It's friggin' super gross. So, we'll get started on that. Alright, well, it's looking significantly cleaner. I've had enough of scrubbing for now. I still got to get under here and do all this bit and everything on the back of it, but I think we're about ready to plug it in. It takes the big plug. Thankfully it still matches with my modern power points. They haven't changed that standard. Just had a quick look over the electrics. It's not plugged in. These fuses are massive. Like, you know what a fuse normally looks like? Like, look at it. It's huge. It's a huge fuse. But, this bit fell off. I'll work that in a second. But this is basically where the power comes in. Have to check the direction. If the direction's wrong, I'll swap two of these. But we'll plug it in and start it up. This is hard to do with one hand. Which way up does this go? Oh, this is... Approach that off first. Alright, here we go. Is it going to smoke? Don't do anything. Cool, nothing happened. Right, so I've gone through all these levers which basically set the speed. Should be set to 112 RPM, which isn't crazy. It's definitely in gear. Pretty sure down here I go off line, didn't make a noise. I should be able to just turn it on here. I'll turn this one on, you can actually see what I'm doing. Works. This didn't turn, so maybe I'm not in a gear. Alrighties. So, for whatever reason, I'm currently stuck in a weird neutral gear. Try one of these other ones. There somewhere, 140 RPM. So there you go. Cool. Oh, let's run it as fast as it goes. So that's, oh, a minute. it's not slow either. This, for a big machine, it does 2,200 RPM, which should be pretty fast, which is A speed. Second gear, we'll stand on this side. Yeah, rad. It takes a bit of time to spool up and down. Just kind of dangerous, but it's pretty cool. This is a very heavy sounding machine. So one of my favourite things about this is the amp gauge that tells you how much power it's using. When I start it, all the power, maximum electricity. I don't actually know what that goes to. It's is it in, oh, I can't, it's not even English. Everything's written in Russian on this, in case you didn't notice. That's what it is. It's a Moedenb, obviously it's not English, 1a616, made by Stanko, and this says People's Machine Factory or something. Basically, for those people that don't know, actually, it's kind of complicated. Yeah, I'll go into it. So, all the levers basically control it. So there's a big motor on the back, wherever the big motor is, here. The big motor drives through a belt under this cover. The belt goes into here, and this controls the speed of the whole thing. So the way this works is I've got my little number here, and then I've got B, C, and, oh, where's the camera? B, C, and A, which is a weird order to put things in, but they're Russian B, C, and A, so that's why it is in that order. But basically, if I want to go 90 RPM, it's in the C, so this is the C column, so I set this back one here to C, and then 90, so I want to point here. So it doesn't quite line up very nicely, but so now I've got arrow C, which is this column, and this column here, which is 90, so that's how I go through the ranges. And then you notice that there's 2 in C, which is 90 and 710. That's this lever here, which is reduction gear. So first would be the 90 RPM, which is the slower one. And then second is the higher RPM, which is the other one. The rest of these, and this one here, are all for cutting screw threads. So basically on the front of it, there's this, which is the lead screw, and this, which is the feed drive. And so one of these is for automatically driving the tool along to take a cut, and one of these drives the tool at a proper speed to cut a thread along. And so what I need to do is, if I want to cut a thread, I have to find, here's the different threads, metric thread in millimeters, English thread, blah blah. You pick the one you want. It's basically the same as this is. You go, I need to pick feed box, select number 1, so if I want 0.75, I go number 2 on this one here, which is already set to 2, and then I go 0.75, number 3, and then I set one of them to number 3, or this one here, number 3, and then you basically just go through the thing and it tells you which lever to set which thing to get which set of gears. And then all the extra levers over here, this one just winds it along this way, this one just winds it backwards and forwards, this one here engages this screw here, because obviously if that is engaged, I can't turn this anymore, but because it feeds itself now. And then these two here are to automatically feed this direction, and one of them is to automatically feed backwards and forwards. So it looks like a lot of levers, but they're actually fairly simple machines. And then the back here, you put a drill bit in there, you wind it out, and this just locks this into place, and that locks this end into place. And then there's another little adjustable one here as well. But yeah, they look kind of intimidating because there's a lot of levers and a lot of numbers and stuff all over it, but they're pretty simple. So yeah, I think we'll might chuck a tool in it and take a few cuts, and I think it'll probably be the end of this video. 450 or 450, 450C. Can't even tell which gear is which. This is going to take a bit of getting a feel for. I think it's in gear. Not in gear. Is that gear? That's a gear. That's a really slow gear though. We'll go A, 560 second. Cool, and this is spinning as well, except I don't want to cut a thread, I want to just machine normally, so I'm pretty sure this is the switch. Here it says lead screw feed shaft. So now this one should go instead. Cool, and one of these is the feed. That one, it's going the wrong way. I don't know if you can actually get me over the top of it. You can see it's feeding this way, but this one here is reverse. So now it should be able to automatically cut this direction. Cool. It's making some pretty terrible noises from down here. Sounds like the belt's like rubbing on something. So maybe I'll leave it at that for now. I did actually machine a little bit, which is good. But yeah, something in here is making a scrubbing sound. So yeah, I think I'll call it at that for the rest of that video. But anyway, that's new lathe. I'm sure you'll see it a bunch on my next few. Why am I so bright? I'm sure you'll see it a bunch on my next videos as I'm using it to make stuff, because there's plenty of things here that need to be made. So I'll see everybody on the next video.